Yep, I'm good.
Cool. At least before we move into the start, at least your microphone is not excessively high and breaking ears. Just thought I'd let you know.
Oh, thank you.
Not a problem. Just thought I'd get you. Oh, and it was kind of noisily immature to, compare me to that guy from Catch a Predator. I kind of thought it was a low blow.
You look like him.
Yeah, look does not mean do. That's the
Did I say you do? I said you remind me of this guy. You look like him.
Alright then. So, let's carry on with the text discussion. Anyway, you said it was going to be a lot better than Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Well, before we get into that, you're going to argue for Capcom from a business standpoint.
Well, technically, it's the pro side of the equation. You're on the anti side. I'm pro.
Well, show me the pro.
All right, here's the pro. You know, like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was basically a hyper-extended version of X-Men vs. Street Fighter.
X-Men vs. Street Fighter had like what?
A lot of X-Men characters and a lot of Street Fighter characters. So if you look at the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 roster, how many characters are from X-Men and Street Fighter?
The same ones from that game?
The same ones from that game, but include extra people. Now, if you include the changes that they made from Capcom, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which is a lot of their characters, original characters, which includes Hagar and a lot of the characters from Darkstalkers. Yeah, they are going to release a Darkstalkers game eventually. That's what I heard. And then you got the Marvel side of perspective, which is basically a lot less X-Men characters and a lot more of their side, which includes the villains. It's just them pushing all the characters they were going to be pushing through. So let's compare the two, and just as to what Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is going to be producing, since, well, you're kind of angry on that one, as it were. Let's see.
Do you know what Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is?
Yes, it's basically what they were going to do if the Tsunami hadn't. If they were going to do for DLC, if the Tsunami hadn't happened.
Okay, see, that right there is where you're mistaken. You actually believe that garbage that they said that the tsunami
does a lot more damage than people prospectively think.
Even though people out there were still able to connect to the internet, they were near the disaster, and every single other developer out there was just fine releasing all their DLC and all their games.
Well, I kind of get
why is Capcom the only company? Why is Capcom the only company so-called affected by the disaster?
Well, it has to be a morale issue. And
a morale issue,
and more, what happens if your company gets affected by a natural disaster that cripples the morality of people?
If my company has to release something on the internet, I will just upload it to the servers and release it to the public. There's no way that they were affected by the disaster. That's just what they say because they didn't know what else to say.
Yeah, it's what they say. However, people like you are reacting to a lot of anger. I kind of figured that all the anger has been building up ever since.
You still haven't explained why the tsunami affected only Capcom releasing the DLC for that one particular game.
Because they would have released it anyway as DLC, and I'm guessing they've lost profit.
They said that too, didn't they?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you walking down an alleyway, you see a shadow behind you wielding a knife, you turn around, the person hides the knife behind their back, and they hand you a flower. And it's like the Capcom fans, they take that and they go, oh, why thank you, even though there was clearly a knife behind his back, and as soon as you turn around again, they're going to
stab you in the back.
That's what Capcom is. They're telling you all this stuff to act like, well, oh, we were going to sell you all this stuff as DLC. Even that sounds terrible, doesn't it? So
it does sound terrible.
Yeah, it sounds terrible. But you know what? They would have made less money putting all that stuff as DLC. Because people wouldn't have bought all those characters. So it's much better and more of a profit to put it all in a new, complete, quote-unquote, version of Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and force everyone that has the original to buy the new one. That way you ensure. That way you ensure
the original for a lot less, for a little less towards the new one.
The trade-in value is $8.
It's basically, you say $40, like over here in the UK, so we're like, 20, 25 pounds.
The trade-in value in America for Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is $8. And the game has only been out for 5 months.
True.
The game isn't worth anything.
Basically, even if you trade, even if the dollar value is like, low, you can still trade in. It's still 32. I mean, if it's like something like,
it's $32 for things that should have been there in the first place, and plus there's DLC that doesn't even transfer over to Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Actually, what I heard is that the two downloadable characters, Jill and Shumagorath, are still going to be there. So even if you keep the
only if you bought them as DLC, they're not going to be on the disc. They're still DLC characters.
You could. Well, from what I heard, the two if you have the DLC from Marvel vs. Capcom 3, they're going to be instant when you play the new game. They're going to be unlockable just right off from the bat.
Well, yeah, it should be, because you bought them for the old game, and then 5 months later, they're selling you a new version of it. Even though a lot of DLC transfers over, there's a few things, I don't remember which ones it was, I'm going to have to re-look that up, but there was like, something like I think it was like a game mode that doesn't carry over, or something like that. But basically,
I'll have a look at that as well.
Everyone that bought that is a waste of money now, because that doesn't transfer over.
Perhaps. Now, let's move on to the characters, shall we? The new characters. Since you kind of have a few problems with a few of those characters yourself.
Yeah, I have a problem with all those characters. I have a problem with all those characters.
Right, number one, Firebrand. He's cool.
Look, it's not about how cool the characters are. Those characters should have been there in the first place.
And they're probably going to be. They would have been DLC anyway. Would have been. Except the tsunami that would have happened, which forced them to change their marketing plan, as I wanted to say.
And it just so happens this marketing plan is more of a profit for them.
In a way. Anyway,
such a coincidence. Such a great coincidence. Oh, the tsunami happened. Our schedule to release digital media.
As an excuse, I kind of see as a valid.
That's funny because people in the tsunami were still able to connect to the internet, upload pictures, email their families.
Let's see, Nintendo got affected by the tsunami, so did Sega, and so did Sony.
Yeah, but
I think other companies as well.
Did they delay anything? Did they delay any releases because of the tsunami, or did things just carry on the way they should have been?
Capcom have delayed things for the 3DS. That's because they want to see in the business perspective. Now, let me just want to see this.
See, when you're arguing business perspective, you only care about what's good for the company, and you don't care about what's good for us. What's good for the company is more than likely not good for us.
Capcom fans who are going to buy Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 anyway, or the other people that are just probably still pissed off that Mega Man Legends 3 got cancelled.
And Mega Man Universe.
And Mega Man Universe, which would have been a Mega Man 2 ripoff anyway.
And that they only got one game save on Resident Evil Mercenaries.
That was still a bad decision, regardless, because that's basically...
And how they're releasing a new version of a fighter that they just released 5 months ago.
That too.
And that they had characters on the disc that were incomplete, that you had to pay for later.
Which then got removed because...
And that there was proof on the disc that the fighters that they're releasing now were on the disc. There was coding for the fighters already on the disc.
What was Dr. Octopus? I highly doubt he would have been more an effective fighter anyway. Besides, in the games already, you know, like when they said that the guy that was making Marvel vs. Capcom 3 said that there was no way Nemesis or Tyrant was going to make into Marvel vs. Capcom 3. They had to rebuild they had to rebuild the game so they could add Nemesis. Not to mention Sentinel got nerfed.
Look. They don't rebuild the game. They don't have a new engine. They don't. That's why they're able to release Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. That's why they're able to have DLC that works for both games, because it's the same engine. Making a new engine costs money. What they're doing right now is that they already have the engine. That saves them a ton of money. All they're doing is making some game modes and some fighters and just putting them in the game. And that doesn't really cost them anything. That doesn't cost them anything. That's teeny tiny labor. All you gotta do is slap it on a disc. When you have a development cost that's really low, you can sell a game for low and make a huge profit. Especially if you know everyone that buys the original is gonna have to buy the new one.
I'm still gonna trade in the original anyway, so
yeah, for $8.
Or something like, it works.
And later on, it'll be even less. You'll get even less for it.
Oh yeah, like they're gonna release an ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I really highly doubt that.
No.
Especially what I'm hearing is that Mega Man X is gonna probably be DLC.
What I'm saying is that the value of Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is just gonna go even lower the longer time goes. Up to the release of Ultimate Marvel.
Does this apply for Street Fighter 4 in effect?
Yes, it does. The value goes down on the games as time goes on. That's just, the game's already not valuable already. It's only $8. And a few months later, it'll probably be less. And a few months later, it'll probably be less. The value of a game goes down.
Okay. Right. Let's see. I kind of had this one problem with your videos that you accused Marvel characters of being, like unbalanced. Number one, Hawkeye is not a... By the way, Rocket Raccoon.
Did I say they were unbalanced?
I kind of had the impression you did.
How? How'd you get that impression? Because I didn't say anything to that effect.
Well, you complained about Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah, a crappy character, make it into a fighter.
Apparently what I heard, he's a weapons character.
Oh, okay, that doesn't matter to me. It's just that Rocket Raccoon...
He's basically potentially a cable.
The point is, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and also Marvel vs. Capcom 3, should have characters that the public would, at least be familiar with and want to use and play and have fun with. Rocket Raccoon came out of the blue. No one knows.
At least it was a better choice than Howard the Flippin' Duck.
People know who Howard the Duck is, and Howard the Duck actually matters in the Marvel Universe. He's friends with Spider-Man. He's rubbed elbows with Iron Man. According to the U.S. government, he doesn't exist, so he can live tax-free and all kinds of great stuff. He actually has his own movie. He's a character people are familiar with.
Now, the
Rocket Raccoon
is apparently going to be probably what Marvel says. They're going to push him. with all the other characters they're going to include, like Iron Fist is getting a push, Hawkeye's getting a push. They just want to have more perspective on Marvel's classic characters. And the Avengers cartoon, which I kind of like very much, hasn't, in the second season that's coming out, there's going to be emphasis on the Rocket Raccoon.
And that's why they put him in the game, for a cameo of Rocket Raccoon in a cartoon. That's how they make their business decisions. That's how they decide what content goes in a game.
Well, I kind of.
You're not really defending. You're not really defending Capcom. You're kind of just really exposing more of their stupid decisions.
Yeah, I think this was actually. Sorry, I think this is a bad thing. Sorry for bothering your time.
Sorry for taking up my time.
Yeah, sorry for taking your time. That thing. And I got a better idea. I'm gonna remove the video and pretend I even did it. I apologize.
Okie dokie.
Okay. See you.
And you can feel like you have nowhere to turn.
Now, let me tell you guys a little bit of what we chatted about before we actually got to, get into the vocals, because at first it was just text, and I told him, let's do vocal. But I asked him, so let me get this straight. You're going to defend Capcom? And then he replies, in a way, yes. I say, in a way. LOL, already I see a weakness. That is what you think. I see things from a business side. LOL. Then there is no debate here. You got their corporate assets in mind. LOL. He already done, and I said the same excuses I heard from 360 fanboys. Here, at least we don't rape our ears on purpose. I still have a headache from that vid you did. I reply, LOL, quite the pointless statement. He replies, if you're not going to take this seriously, then I don't really see the point to this. I do exactly as your fans said to do, and yet this happens. Son, I'm pretty much disappointed. I reply, well, you got to understand, it's hard taking you seriously. You're going to argue for a company from a business standpoint, meaning you don't care about our end. He replies, I kind of don't see the point where they've been doing this since, 91? The whole sequels thing? End to a mean? I should reply with ... Just because somebody has been doing something for a long time doesn't make it okay, and that's not a valid point. A woman gets used to her man beating her, and she won't leave the man. That doesn't make what he's doing okay. Just because you get used to something, or just because something happens a lot, that doesn't make it okay. I just don't understand how people can make a video challenging somebody, and then their points are stupid things like this. He took that challenge video down real quick. He hung up on me, said goodbye, whatever. And within 5 seconds, his challenge video was gone. I was going to go on there and download it. Gone. That fast. Oh, God darn it. He been doing the yard. I replied to him, so it shouldn't matter because they've been doing this for a long time. We should be used to it. He said, yes. He replied, yes. Hey, then again, the internet was invented back then in the early 90s. Besides, let me ask you something, good sir. Do you and the other fans think Marvel's Capcom 3 is basically going to be Marvel's Capcom 2? I replied, I thought it was going to be better than Marvel's Capcom 2. Hell of a lot better. And that's when I told him to get on mic, and that's when we spoke for just 15 minutes. And then it was over. So anyway, guys, just let that be a lesson to any Capcom defenders out there and Capcom lovers and Marvel's Capcom 3 fanboys, whatever. If you try to defend a company like Capcom, it's impossible. It's impossible. Just let that be a lesson to you. See ya.